The bullet tore through my chest like a freight train from hell, and as the world blurred to black, I locked eyes with Marcus, my best friend, my business partner, the son of a bitch who'd just sold me out for a quick 30 grand and a corner office. "Emery, you always talked big about quitting that dead-end job," he whispered, his voice dripping with fake regret as sirens wailed closer. "But look at you now, chasing dreams that got you killed." I died choking on my own blood, cursing the day I trusted him with my life, my secrets, and the one shot I had at going legit. But death? Turns out it's just a shitty intermission. When my eyes snapped open, I wasn't in that rain-soaked alley anymore. I was back in my cramped Brooklyn apartment. 3 years earlier, the morning after I'd pitched Marcus on ditching our soul-sucking gigs at the ad firm for something real. My heart hammered like I'd run a marathon, sweat soaking my sheets, and the calendar on the wall screamed 2022 in bold red marker. Holy shit. I'd been given a do-over. And this time, Marcus Hale was going to pay for every lie, every backstab, every dollar he stole from the grave I clawed out of. I bolted upright, gasping, the familiar stink of stale coffee and unwashed gym clothes hitting me like a slap. My hands, calloused from those endless freelance nights, trembled as I grabbed my phone. No missed calls from cops. No headlines about a botched heist gone wrong. Just a text from Marcus. "Yo. Inc. Last night's pitch was fire. Meet at the office? Let's make bank." I laughed. A bitter, jagged sound that echoed off the peeling wallpaper. Last night. The night I'd suggested we both quit our 30 grand a year hellholes at Apex Media, pool our savings, and launch that indie production company we'd bullshitted about over beers. He'd grown furious then, too, eyes narrowing like I'd pissed on his future. "You think you're better than this, Emery? Some hotshot director with delusions." But I'd pushed, shown him the numbers, the viral shorts we'd mocked up. He'd pretended to buy in. And that pretense? It led straight to my coffin. Not this time. I scrolled through my contacts, thumb hovering over his name. Delete? No. Too soon. I needed to play it cool. Map the minefield. The betrayal wasn't just the bullet, it was the setup. Marcus had been skimming from our side hustle for months, feeding intel to our sleazy boss, Harlan, who ran Apex like a mob front. Harlan's secret? He wasn't just peddling ad space, he was laundering cash for East Coast wise guys, using our scripts to mask shell company deals. I'd stumbled on it accidentally, overheard a call in the break room, saw the ledgers that didn't add up, told Marcus in confidence, thinking we were brothers in arms. Instead, he flipped, tipped Harlan off, and when I pushed too hard on the legit pivot, they framed me for embezzlement. The heist was their cleanup, plant evidence, stage a mugging, make it look like I'd run with the books. Cops bought it hook, line, and sinker. My body washed up in the East River. DOA. I swung my legs off the bed, bare feet hitting the cold hardwood. At 29, I looked like a ghost of the man I'd become, lean but not broken, eyes still holding that spark before the grind dulled it. Mirror check, stubble shadowing my jaw, dark hair tousled from the nightmare. But it wasn't a dream. The scar on my left forearm from a childhood bike wreck? Still there. The faded tattoo of a film reel on my bicep, inked during film school dropout days? Pristine. This was real. Rebirth. Resurrection. Whatever the fuck you call it when the universe hands you a loaded gun and says, "Try again, asshole." First move, reconnaissance. I showered fast, the scalding water rinsing away phantom blood, and threw on jeans and a faded Mets hoodie. Brooklyn buzzed outside my window, honking cabs, the distant rumble of the F train, like nothing had changed. But everything had. I grabbed my laptop, the one with the sticky spacebar, and pulled up our shared drive. There it was, the folder labeled Dream Pitch. Inside, the deck guides slaved over, storyboards for gritty short films, projections for streaming deals, a way out of the corporate cage. Marcus had loved it.
Lies.
By the time I hit the subway, resolve hardened in my gut like bad diner eggs. Apex Media loomed in Midtown, a glass monolith that screamed aspirational bullshit to anyone who'd ever chased the American dream here. I badged in, nodding at the security drone who barely glanced up from his phone. Elevators dinged, spilling me onto the 17th floor where open-plan purgatory awaited, rows of desks cluttered with energy drinks and half-eaten bagels. Fluorescent hum underscoring the chatter of overworked millennials selling smoke to Fortune 500 suckers. Marcus was at his station, hunched over his dual monitors, that trademark smirk already in place as he spotted me weaving through the cube farm. Emery.
Bro.
You look like you saw a ghost. Rough night. His voice was all easy charm, the kind that masked the viper underneath.
Tall.
Blonde. With that Ivy League polish from his daddy's connections, Wharton grad slumming it in ads till he could climb higher. Something like that, I said, forcing a grin as I dropped into my chair across from him. Our desks butted up like Siamese twins, a joke on our partnership. I leaned in, casual. Still thinking about the pitch? We could be our own bosses by summer. His eyes flickered, that micro-tell I'd missed last time. A shadow crossing his baby blues. Hell yeah. But Harlan's got us on that pharma campaign. Big bucks. Maybe after? He clapped my shoulder. Grip a tad too tight. Translation, back off. I nodded, playing along.
But inside?
Fury simmered. I remembered the pharma gig, the one that hooked us deeper into Harlan's web, scripting feel-good spots for opioids while he funneled kickbacks to the cartels. I'd quit in a blaze last timeline, only to get dragged back by Marcus's loyalty. This round, I'd use it.
Dig.
Expose. Lunch hit like clockwork, greasy slices from the cart downstairs, wolfed on a bench in Bryant Park. Marcus rambled about his latest Tinder disaster, oblivious to my side eye on his phone. There, a text thread with Harlan. Kids pushing too hard. Watch him. Sent last night. Proof. Right in his pocket. But swiping it now? Amateur hour. Patience. Emery. Build the trap. Afternoon dragged in meetings. Harlan holding court in the glass-walled conference room like a discount Don Corleone. 50s. Paunchy. With a comb-over that screamed midlife denial, he barked orders in that gravelly Jersey accent. Emery. Your copy on the spot, make it sing. Marcus. You're on metrics. Don't fuck me over. His eyes lingered on me a beat too long. He knew. Or suspected. In my first life, that suspicion turned lethal. I nodded, scribbling notes, but my mind raced ahead. The secret Harlan buried? Not just laundering, it was deeper. Years back, he'd covered for a junior exec who'd OD'd a client during a team-building retreat. Hush money, NDAs, the works. And Marcus? He'd been there, fresh out of college, witnessing it all. That's the hook he had on my friend, loyalty bought with silence. When I uncovered the ledgers, Marcus chose self-preservation. Sold me out to keep his golden ticket. Quitting time blurred into happy hour at the Rusty Nail, our ritual dive bar haunt. Dim lights, sticky floors, the jukebox crooning Springsteen like a bad omen. Beers flowed, shots chased, and Marcus got loose-lipped after the third round. You know,
Ink.
quitting sounds dope, but what if we get in deeper here first? Harlan's got connections. Real money. I sipped slow, masking revulsion. Deeper how?
Probe gently.
He shrugged, eyes glassy. Just opportunities. Side doors. Code for the dirt. I pressed, feigning buzzed curiosity. And he spilled fragments, a consult gig for some suits. Cash under the table. Not enough to nail him, but threads to pull. By midnight, stumbling home, my phone buzzed, an anonymous tip line I'd set up in my head. But wait.
No.
Paranoia? Or fate? A burner email. Apex isn't what it seems. Check the basement server room. A friend. Bullshit or gold. In my old life, I'd ignored whispers like this.
Now?
I'd chase every shadow. Sleep evaded me that night, the apartment closing in like a vice. I paced, replaying the death, the alley's chill, Marcus's cologne mixing with gunpowder, Harlan's shadow in the doorway as they walked away laughing. He had it coming, Marcus had said. For what? Suggesting we quit? No, for knowing too much. The secret wasn't just Harlan's crime, it was mine. I'd buried it deep. Back in film school, I'd scripted a doc on corporate greed that fingered Apex's early skeletons. Dropped it unfinished. Scared of lawsuits. But Harlan knew. Hired me anyway. Groomed me as the fall guy. Dawn broke gray over the East River. And I made my call. No more waiting. I'd quit, today, but on my terms. Storm into Harlan's office. Drop the pitch as bait. Then slip down to that server room while they reeled. Hack the files. Expose the laundering. Drag Marcus into the light. Risky? Hell yes. Controversial? Leaking corporate secrets could torch innocence. Paint me as the villain. But fuck ethics, this was survival. The subway rattled me back to Midtown. Pulse thundering. Apex's lobby gleamed under morning sun. A facade of normalcy. Badge in. Elevator up. But as doors slid open, Marcus was waiting. Coffee in hand. Grin too wide.
Ink.
Perfect timing. Harlan wants you in his office. Now. My stomach dropped. Already? The game's accelerated. I followed, feet leaden, into the lion's den. Harlan behind his desk, cigar smoke curling like a noose. Emery.
Sit.
Marcus here says you're itching to jump ship. Busted. Or played. Marcus lounged against the wall, arms crossed, that fury from last night simmering beneath the calm. Told you.
Boss.
Kid's got stars in his eyes. Harlan chuckled. Low and mean. Stars get you killed in this town. Son. But hey. Loyalty pays. Stick around, and maybe you'll see what real power looks like. I met his gaze. The reborn fire igniting. Or maybe I'll take my talents elsewhere. Quit today. The room iced over. Marcus's jaw tightened. There it was. The rage I'd sparked before, now laced with fear. Harlan leaned forward, eyes narrowing. Bold. But walk out. And you walk alone. No references. No network. Wouldn't dream of it, I lied.
Standing.
Just tying loose ends. As I turned, Harlan's voice sliced the air. One more thing.
Emery.
That old script of yours? The one sniffing around my books? Burn it. Or I will. Checkmate. He knew about the doc. The secret wasn't buried. It was a live wire. I nodded, exiting with my heart in my throat. Server room.
Now.
The basement was a tomb. Humming racks. Flickering LEDs. The AC blasting Arctic chill. No guards, arrogance. Their downfall. I jimmied the lock with a paperclip from my pocket, a trick from YouTube paranoia vids.
Inside.
Terminals glowed like accusatory eyes. Boot up. VPN tunnel. Thank God for my hacker buddy's old tutorial. Files spilled. Ledgers coded as creative budgets. Transfers to offshore ghosts. Emails tying Harlan to the Lucchese family. And Marcus? Signatures everywhere. His Wharton polish forging the trails. Download zipped. I slipped out. Pulse roaring. Upstairs. Chaos. Marcus at my desk. Rifling drawers. Looking for something? I barked. He spun. Face paling.
Ink.
Where were you? Out, I said, grabbing my bag. And I'm done.
Quitting.
For real. You can't. Fury cracked his mask, the same explosive anger when I'd first suggested bailing on the 30K grind. You think you can just walk? After everything? Everything. I stepped close. Voice low. Like selling me out? I know. Marcus.
The tips.
The setups. Harlan's dirt. All of it. His eyes widened, then narrowed to slits. You're bluffing. Paranoid fuck. Am I? I flashed the phone screenshots. Timestamps. Resign or I hit send. To the feds. The Times. Everyone. He lunged, fist connecting with my jaw in a blur of betrayal redux. Pain exploded, but I swung back. Decades of gym rat rage fueling the hook that dropped him. This ends now, I gasped.
Pinning him. Confess.
Or rot. Sirens? No. Footsteps. Harlan bursting in. Goons in tow, security meatheads with nightsticks. Get him, he roared. The fight spilled into the hall. Chairs toppling. Screams echoing. I dodged a swing. Cracked an elbow into a gut. But numbers won. They dragged me down. Zip ties biting wrists. Harlan looming with a smirk. Told you.
Kid.
Stars get you killed. But as they hauled me to the service elevator, Marcus hesitated, wiping blood from his lip. Something flickered. Guilt? Or calculation? Wait, he muttered. He's got proof. Harlan paused, eyes calculating. Then we make sure it's gone. The elevator descended. Not to the lobby, to the parking garage. My mind raced, phone in pocket. Uploads auto-syncing to cloud. If they searched me. They did. Rough hands yanked it free. Harlan smashing it under his heel. No more games. But the cloud pinged silent in my head, successful. Twist 1. I'd set a dead man's switch last night. Emails queued to drop if I didn't check in. The garage reeked of oil and exhaust. Their van idling like a hearse. Alley drop-off. Harlan grunted. Make it look like a mugging. Again. Deja vu hit like vertigo. This was it, the echo of my death. But reborn. I fought dirty, headbutted the driver, grabbed keys, floored it toward the exit ramp. Tires screeched, alarms wailed. Brooklyn bound, heart slamming. They pursued, but NYPD blues lit the street. Anonymous tip? My switch. Cops swarmed. Harlan's van pinned. I pulled over. Hands up. Spilling everything, files, names, the OD cover-up. It's all there. Apex is a front. Chaos unfolded. Arrests. Headlines screaming, ad empire crumbles. Laundering scandal rocks Midtown. Marcus flipped first. Plea deal for testimony. Painting Harlan as the kingpin.
Me?
Hero or whistleblower. The press painted me gray. Disgruntled employee turns tables, sparking debates on corporate loyalty versus justice. Controversial as hell. Forums lit up. Calling me a rat. A savior. Everything in between. Weeks blurred. Depositions. Therapy for the PTSD they chalked up to stress. The production company? Revived. Funded by a true crime doc on the bust. Success tasted sweet, but hollow. Then the twist, a knock at my door.
6 months in.
Marcus. Gaunt. In a cheap suit. Eyes haunted.
Eminência. I
didn't want it to go that far. Harlan had dirt on me, the retreat. The girl who OD'd? She was my sister. The world tilted. His sister. The secret he'd buried deeper than Harlan's. Fury I'd nursed? Mis-aimed. Why not tell me? I choked. Fear, he whispered. You pushed to quit. And I snapped, thought you'd judge. Then it snowballed. Forgiveness?
No.
But understanding cracked the ice. We talked till dawn. Raw truths spilling. He vanished after. Witness protection. New life.
Me?
I finished the doc. Titled it Reborn in Betrayal. Box office hit. But the real win? Facing the mirror, without ghosts. Life forced us both to quit the lies. And in the end, rebirth wasn't revenge, it was reckoning. The premiere after-party thrummed in a Soho loft. Fairy lights strung like nooses over the crowd of indie darlings and critics nursing artisanal cocktails. I'd dodged 3 interview requests already. The buzz of vindication clashing with the ache in my knuckles, remnants of that garage brawl. Or maybe just the ghost of Marcus's punch. Emery Voss. The man who torched Apex for me inside, a producer schmoozed, thrusting a champagne flute my way. You're a legend. What's next? Hollywood biopic. I clinked glasses, mustering a smirk.
Nah.
Keeping it real. Brooklyn grit. Not Tinseltown gloss. But inside, the high was laced with vertigo. 6 months post-bust, and the nightmares still crept in, bullets whizzing. Harlan's laugh echoing like a bad cut in a slasher flick. Rebirth sounded poetic, but living it, a daily tightrope over the abyss. My agent, Lena, a sharp-tongued Latina from the Bronx who'd sniffed out my script in the rubble, pulled me aside. You've got offer stacking.
Eminência.
Netflix wants a series. But that Marcus sit-down? Off record. Or it kills the mystique. I nodded, scanning the room. No sign of him since that night at my door. His confession hung like unfinished footage. His sister, Lila, fresh-faced in turn crushed under Harlan's mentorship. The OD at the retreat, a wild weekend in the Hamptons. Pills laced with fentanyl from the very pharma clients we pitched. Harlan covered it, paid off the family. But Marcus? He'd signed the NDA, buried the grief to climb. When I pitched quitting, it cracked him, reminded him of dreams he'd sold for survival. You always talked big, he'd snarled back then, echoing his own regrets. Fury born of mirrors. Off record, I confirmed. Lena vanished into the throng, leaving me with a view of the city's skyline, jagged teeth biting the night. My phone vibrated. Unknown number. Text, we need to talk. The loose end.
M.
Heart stuttered. Loose end? I typed back. Where? Your old spot. Rusty nail. Midnight. The bar hadn't changed. Same scarred booths. Same bartender with the lazy, eye-slinging drafts. I slid in at 11:55. Hoodie up. Nursing a soda, clarity over courage tonight. Marcus arrived on the... slipping through the door like a shadow. Collar popped against the chill. Thinner. Haunted. But that smirk? Buried under stubble and regret. He started. Voice rough. No bro this time. Thanks for coming. Cut the shit, I said, leaning forward. Neon buzzed overhead, casting his face in bloody red. Loose end? Harlan's rotting in Rikers. You're in Witsec. What now? He glanced around, paranoia twitching. Not Harlan. The bigger fish. Lucchese's, they're pissed. The bust dried their tap. Word is, they're sniffing for the rat who leaked.
Me.
The whistleblower. I laughed, dry as dust. Let em sniff. Feds have me covered. Not enough. He slid a thumb drive across the table. Matte black and innocuous. This is the real ledger. Not the sanitized crap you grabbed. Names. Dates, Lila's too. Harlan was small fry. These guys run the coast. I pocketed it. Fingers itching. Why me? And you? Why drop this now? His eyes met mine raw. Stripped. Because you were right. About quitting. About fighting back. I was furious 'cause it hit too close. Lila dreamed big.
Like you.
I let fear win. Twice.
A beat.
This repays. Partially. Twist too. Not just guilt. Redemption arc? Or another play. I searched his face. The man who'd pulled the trigger in my death reel. But reborn eyes saw layers. The kid from Jersey who'd hustled scholarships. The brother who'd mourned in silence. You die for this? I pressed. He shrugged. Ghost of a smile. Already did. New name. New city. But if they come, use it. Burn 'em all. He stood. Clapped my shoulder, echo of old days. But lighter. Gone before last call. I sat till closing. Drive burning a hole. Mind reeling. Revenge complete?
Nah.
This was escalation. The American dream's dark underbelly. One wind spawns a dozen wolves. Dawn found me in a cyber cafe off Flatbush. VPN layered triple thick. Drive spilling secrets onto an encrypted server. Pages of wire transfers. Shell core disguised as production houses. Ironic.
That.
Apex wasn't unique. It was a node in a web strung from Miami to Boston. And the OD? Not accident. Lila had pitched a story on the Pharmatize. Same as my old doc. Harlan silenced her with a spiked drink. Marcus knew, watched it happen. Too scared to scream. Fury reignited. Hotter than before. Controversial move. Go public again? Leak to investigative pods like the Daily or Reveal. Innocents would catch shrapnel. Cops on the take. Families of low-level mules. But silence? That made me complicit. Another cog quitting too late. Lena called mid-upload. You alive? That series greenlit. 6 figures. Your show. Tell him hold. I muttered. Fingers flying. Got a plot twist. She laughed. Always do. But don't blow it. You're the comeback king. King? Pawn?
More like.
By noon, I was in a nondescript diner, meeting Riley, an old film school contact turned journo. All tattoos and skepticism. This better be gold. Voss, she said, slurping black coffee. Last scoop you teased was vaporware. I slid her a redacted file. Gold mine. But off books till I say. Her eyes lit as she scanned. Jesus. Mob and media? This torches careers. Start with mine, I said. Decision time. Controversial as fuck. Self-immolation for the greater burn. Name me as source. Full expose. She whistled. Suicide by byline. Why? Redemption. I echoed Marcus. Mine. And a ghost's. The piece dropped a week later. The Real Launderers. How Hollywood's shadow funded the mob. Byline. Riley Kane. With assisted by Emery Voss. Twitter, X now. Whatever. Exploded. Apex 2.0 trended. Memes of me as the vengeful director wielding a clapperboard sword. Pundits debated. Hero or fame whore. Protests outside Lucchese fronts. Feds raiding anew. Harlan testified from jail. Flipping on bosses for a plea. But blowback hit fast. My loft trashed subtle. A warning. Slashed canvases. Traitor scrawled in red. Lena pulled strings for security. The series stalled. Netflix citing optics. Isolation crept. Friends ghosting. Paranoia, my new co-star. Then. The call. Block number. Mr. Voss. Detective Hale. NYPD organized crime. Not Marcus. Coincidence? We need you. Safe house. Now.
Hale.
Family name? I bolted. Cab weaving through traffic. Drive clutched like a grenade. The safe house squatted in Queens. Chain link and floodlights. Inside. Feds in rumpled suits.
Coffee breath thick.
You're in deep. Voss. Lead agent grunted. A bulldog named Kowalski. Lucchese's put a tag. Green. Live capture. Make an example. Example. I barked. I handed you the playbook. He shrugged. Food chain. You poked the bear. Interrogation dragged. Timelines. Alibis. The drive's full dump. They grilled on Marcus. Associate or accomplice? And I stonewalled. Loyalty's last thread. Night fell. Tension coiling like a spring. Midnight breach. Alarms shrieked. Shadows breached the perimeter. Gunfire popped, silenced. Professional. I dove behind a couch. Heart reborn and raging. Feds returned fire. Shouts in Italian accents. Chaos. A goon burst through the door. Ski mask. Pistol raised. I tackled low. Old brawl instincts kicking elbow to throat. Knee to groin. He crumpled. Mask slipping, familiar jaw. Wharton polish. Not Marcus. A ghost of him, cousin? Enforcer he'd vouched for? For Hale, he wheezed. Before Kowalski cuffed him. The raid netted 3. But the tag lingered. Relocated to a Philly bolt hole. I paced motel walls. Scripting my counter. Controversial play. Go rogue. hack the web myself. Flood dark pools with the unredacted files. Risky, cyber felonies. Mob hit upgraded to red. But quitting? Never again. Riley texted, "You're insane." But it's working. Indictments rolling. Working. Till the knock, not feds. A woman. Mid-30s. Sharp bob. Eyes like Marcus's, blue. Fractured. "Lila," she said. Voice steady. "Not dead." Faked OD. Harlan's mercy, to silence without killing. Protected witness. Like her brother. Twist 3. The secret's heart. "He sent me," she said, sliding into the booth. "To finish what you started." We plotted over greasy fries. Her testimony. My footage. A joint doc exposing the full rot. "But it's dangerous," she warned. "They'll call us liars." Vengeful siblings and their pet whistleblower. "Let 'em," I said. Truth's the ultimate controversy. The warehouse on the Delaware docks loomed like a forgotten set piece. Rusted girders clawing at the overcast sky. The river's murk whispering secrets of bodies dumped decades ago. We'd chosen it for the irony. Philly's underbelly. A stone's throw from the city of brotherly love's polished facade. Lila checked her watch. Breath fogging in the chill. 5 minutes. Riley's crew is embedded. Feds on standby. "You sure about this?" "Emery?" I adjusted the hidden mic, clipped to my collar. The weight of it grounding like an anchor. Sure as rebirth gets. 6 months in hiding had honed me, lean muscle from motel push-ups. Mind sharpened on revenge's whetstone. The plan, lure a mid-level Lucchese capo. Frankie the fixer Moretti. With a bogus pitch. Indie film on the life consultant gig. Fat payday. He'd bite. Greed was their gospel. Once in, Lila's testimony live-streamed, my questions peeling layers till he cracked on tape. Controversial? A stage sting outside jurisdiction. Ethics shredded like confetti. But the mob's secrets died in silence. This was resurrection by any means. Headlights pierced the gloom. Black SUV. Tinted windows rolling down slow. Frankie emerged, barrel-chested in a silk shirt, gold chain glinting like a noose. 2 goons flanked, bulges under jackets screaming hardware. "Voss," he grunted, "jersey thick. This better be worth the drive." Your boy's pitch said real money. I stepped forward, palms up. Camera drone humming discreet from the rafters. Riley's tech wizardry. Money and glory. Frankie. A story that whitewashes the family, hero's journey. Capice. Lila hung back in shadows. Recorder primed. He chuckled. Wet and mean. "Hero, we're villains in your flicks."
Kid.
But talk. We circled crates stamped with faded produce labels, front for the dock's real cargo, laundered cash in fish guts. I fed lines, probing gentle, Harlan's roll. The pharma pipelines, that Hampton's retreat turned tomb. Frankie's eyes narrowed at Lila's name. The intern? Loose lips. Harlan fixed it, permanent nap. Not permanent, Lila stepped out. Voice steel. "I'm here." Talking. Chaos ignited. Goons drew. Frankie bellowing betrayal. But feds swarmed. Silent breach. Vests gleaming under strobes. NYPD. Down. Shots cracked. Ricocheting off metal. I dove. Splintered wood spraying. A goon charged, mine from the safe house raid. Fist glancing my shoulder before Kowalski dropped him. Frankie bolted for the SUV. But Lila tripped him. Knee to spine. For my brother, she hissed. As cuffs clicked. The drone captured it all. His curses. The scramble. The river lapping indifferent. Aftermath blurred. Headlines screamed mob mole nabbed in cinematic sting. My face splashed across CNN as the reborn director. Debates raged. Vigilante justice or entrapment. Protests swelled outside courthouses. Justice or jail trending with my name. The Lucchese's crumbled. Indictments cascading like dominoes. Bosses flipping in a RICO frenzy. Harlan? Suicide in his cell. Official story. But whispers said assisted. Lila vanished into protection. A new identity waiting. Last words over burner. We quit the shadows.
Eminencia.
For good.
But me?
The high crashed hard. Back in Brooklyn, my loft rebuilt. Security cams winking. I stared at the script for the series. Pages curling under my grip. Netflix revived it. Bloated budget and all. But the words felt hollow. Rebirth's cost. Trust eviscerated. Every face, a potential blade. Marcus called once. Voice distorted. You did it. We're free.
Free. Ha.
The twist finale hit unannounced. A package on my stoop. No return.
Inside.
A VHS. Ancient tech. Dusty label. Emery's demo reel. 2015. My dropped doc. The one that started the rot. But spliced in. Footage I'd never shot. Alley cam. Grainy but clear. My death. Marcus pulling the trigger. Harlan directing. Then. A confession. Marcus's. Recorded post-bust. I fired the blank. Staged it all. To protect you from them. From me. You were too close. I had to fake the end. Blank? Staged? My death a ruse? Rebirth not cosmic. But engineered? He'd orchestrated the bullet, the river drop, the whole tragedy to force my hand, expose Harlan without direct blood. Fury boiled, betrayal squared. But beneath? Gratitude's thorn. He'd quit his own lies. Sacrificed his future to rebirth mine. I burned the tape. Ashes scattering in the wind off my fire escape. The series wrapped, reborn in betrayal. A meta-thriller blurring fact and frame. Critics called it gripping, gut-wrenching, controversial to the core. Accused of glamorizing crime. Box office boomed. Awards followed. But success? Just another grind. 30K soul now in 7 figures. Yet the hook lingered. Suggest I quit chasing ghosts. And I'd laugh. Life had forced the truth. Betrayal's not the end. It's the edit that cuts deepest. In the end, I walked the Brooklyn Bridge at dawn. City sprawling like an open wound. No more alleys. No more triggers. Just me. Reborn.
Scripting the next take.
And if shadows stirred, I'd face them camera ready.